Reflections on Caregiving, an interview with Don Wendorf. On March 27, 2015, neurologist Dr. Daniel C. Potts interviewed Dr. Don Wendorf, retired psychologist, author, and Alzheimer's dementia advocate, about his caregiving experience for his late wife, Susan. The interview, vulnerable, honest, and authentic, is rich in insights which can aid other caregivers on their journeys.
Don, tell me how your experience and knowledge as a psychologist and a marriage and family therapist, and also a professional musician, aided you as you nurtured a relationship with your wife, Susan, in her disability.
I think it did and it didn't. I mean, when I would do something wrong and mess up, it gave me about 35 theoretical explanations for why I was messing up. But I still messed up. It's like being married for all those years and raising kids and being a family therapist and a psychologist and stuff at the same time. It gave me some concepts and helped me refine and I guess clarify what I believed in terms of relationships and commitment and how to relate to people and how to deal with emotions and conflict and anger and stuff. But I always used to tell my clients, I go home, I'm on the same turf as everybody else, and there are things that I don't see. I might see it in you, but I'm not going to see it in me, and I'm going to be in denial about something until it happens and I see it. I mean, you can't know what you don't know until you know it. So in some ways, I guess it wasn't an advantage, but I was used to dealing with difficult situations and with emotionally sensitive things. But the most important things I think that I learned being a therapist are really the things that all of us have got to know anyway if we're going to have a relationship. So in terms of how to listen, how to be attentive, how to empathize, how to be sensitive. I got used to relating to a whole lot of different people. And as people were changing and different situations changed, the same thing was true with Susan. She was changing all the time and becoming more disabled. So it enabled me, I guess, it may have helped in terms of being able to empathize. A real important part of the whole deal is being able to put yourself in somebody else's place, to be able to empathize, to not only have an intellectual understanding, but an emotional understanding of what somebody else is experiencing and where are they coming from and why are they doing what they do? Why are they saying that? Over the years, I came to believe that most of us, this is from my clients, but from being married and raising kids, most people do what seems to them at the moment the most reasonable or straightforward or logical or only thing they know to do, and they do what seems to be right for them, even though it may not seem right to me at all. But if I can put myself in their place, then I'm in a better position to be able to respond. And I'm in a better position to be able to see how is the response that I'm getting from this person a response to me. The approach that I used theoretically was a family systems approach. But that puts me as a part of that system of interacting and relating and communicating people. So it isn't just that this person is doing something and I'm responding and figuring out, okay, what is this, where are they coming from? Part of what they're responding to is me. And of course I'm responding to them, and they're responding to my response, to their response, to my response, to their response, and on and on and on. So I can't change anybody else. I sure learned that as a therapist. Sometimes I can change myself, which is hard enough to do. Sometimes I can't. But that was very helpful with Susan, is being able to try and think in terms of, why is she resisting what I'm asking her to do? Why isn't she cooperating? Why isn't she doing this? Why is she asking that? Why is she saying this? She didn't do that yesterday. When I said this day before yesterday, she did just fine. Well, maybe it's a change in her. Maybe there's a change that's going on with her cognitive functioning or, her disability or her ability to do things. Maybe she's also reacting to something from me. And so I can look at myself. I can't change her, but I may be able to change something in myself in terms of how I'm relating and how I'm asking and how I'm giving directions or whatever it is I'm doing that would be helpful in that sort of situation.
Naomi Feil talks about certain behaviors being due to unmet needs that someone may have. So can you tell us maybe some examples of how you were able to identify those needs through behaviors that Susan showed you?
She would respond to me in different ways at different times. She had vascular dementia, and so she had a lot of disability from strokes in terms of being able to move. Eventually, she was legally blind. So some of her needs just to be able to know what's going on and feel secure and feel confident that she's going to be able to do something, she would express in different sort of ways. Sometimes, for example, I would perceive her as being resistant or oppositional, okay? And I would try and talk with her about that. And she would shut down, which just increased my experience of her at the moment as being resistant and oppositional. And it would make me mad. And of course, I would try harder to find out what I'm after. But what she needed at that point was to know that she wasn't going to displease me or anger me or scare me away. I mean, I was all she had. She could do almost nothing for herself. So her need for being able to be okay and be safe would sometimes come out in things that I would react to as being oppositional. I would intensify what I'm saying and how I'm trying to get her to do something, which would scare her even more, and she'd shut down. And she wouldn't be able to tell me at the moment what was going on. And yet what she needed there was not me insisting more or louder or arguing with her. What she needed was for me to back off and calm down and reassure her. But it was hard to get that out, and until I came to finally sort of realize that and be able to read her better, it got pretty nasty at times. I got pretty unpleasant. I got pretty angry. I was mean. I have a lot of regrets about that. What actually helped with that was finally at one point, when it wasn't in the middle of a crisis sort of situation, I was able to get a discussion going with her and saying, why, how come sometimes you do this, or yesterday, and she said, you need to know that I'm not trying to be bad. I'm scared all the time. I'm always afraid I'm going to say something that's going to anger you or displease you, or I'm going to hurt you, because she did hurt me. She was not small. And I'm doing all this lifting and directing and, moving her around and stuff, and my back and my knees and my arms and my shoulders were sore all the time. So she said, I'm scared. I don't ever want to hurt you. I don't want to fall and hurt myself. I'm not trying to be bad. I'm always scared, and then I just stop. That was enormously helpful to me. And I was able to help her say that by having the discussion at a time when we weren't in crisis, and we're not leaning over and we're about to fall or something or other, and we could have that discussion, because she needed to get that across to me. And what it also told me is, why would I go to she's being resistant or oppositional as my sort of first impulse? That's how it felt. Felt like she was being resistant or opposite. She wasn't doing what I said. She did it yesterday. What's the deal? But to remember, wait a minute, who is this person? Why'd you marry somebody that's so resistant and oppositional? Well, you didn't. You married her because she was one of the most kind and loving and generous and giving and sweet and caring people you'd ever met in your entire life. That's who she still is. She just can't get it out now, and you getting in the way. And to let her then be who she was, because part of what I was seeing as resistant was actually her caring about me and not wanting to hurt me, or not wanting, to hurt our relationship by me being upset with her or displeased with her. It's the same person.